Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the quantum resonance readings scrolling across her holographic display, her heart racing as the implications sank in. The lab's soft blue lighting cast dancing shadows across the walls of her underground facility at MIT, where she'd spent the last 3 years working on what her colleagues had dubbed Chen's folly. The Meridians, humanity's supposed mentors in the galactic community, had been clear. Organic beings couldn't possibly manipulate quantum fields with the precision required for advanced space travel. Their crystalline neural networks were supposedly the only way to achieve such control. Yet here, on her screen, was proof they were wrong. Sarah ran her fingers through her short black hair, a habit she'd developed during long nights of research. The quantum field wasn't responding to mechanical manipulation or crystalline resonance. It was responding to human consciousness itself. The random patterns she'd initially dismissed as interference were actually synchronizing with her brain's neural patterns. The door to her lab hissed open, interrupting her thoughts. Dr. James Martinez, her research partner, and the only other person who knew the true nature of her work, rushed in. His usually neat appearance was disheveled, and his dark eyes were wide with excitement. "Sarah, the Meridian Oversight Committee is here. 3 months early," he said, trying to catch his breath. "They're demanding an immediate review of all quantum research projects." Sarah's mouth went dry. "They know." "No, but something's got them spooked. They've been showing up at every major research facility on Earth. Whatever you found, they're looking for it." Sarah's fingers flew across the holographic interface, initiating her emergency protocols. 3 years of research began transferring to a quantum-encrypted drive, while degraded versions of her data replaced the originals in the main system. The Meridians were thorough, but they weren't infallible. "Help me set up the containment field demonstration," she said, moving to the center of the lab where their official experiments sat. It was a clever piece of misdirection, a quantum containment system that worked exactly as the Meridians expected it to. Poorly. James hesitated. "Sarah, maybe we should tell them. They're our mentors, after all. If you've really cracked quantum consciousness integration." "They're not our mentors, James. They're our wardens." Sarah activated the containment field, watching the familiar blue glow fill the chamber. "Did you know they've blocked 14 different human research proposals this year alone? All projects that might lead to independent human space travel." The sound of footsteps echoing down the corridor cut their conversation short. Sarah straightened her lab coat and took a deep breath, preparing herself for what was to come. The Meridian delegation swept into the lab like a wave of living light. Their crystalline bodies refracted the lab's lighting, sending rainbow patterns dancing across the walls. Leading them was first observer Kelix, his towering form composed of what appeared to be perfect diamond. Unlike his subordinates, whose bodies were relatively simple geometric patterns, Kelix's crystalline form was a complex lattice of interconnected shapes that seemed to shift and change as he moved. "Dr. Chen," Kelix's voice resonated through the lab, each word accompanied by subtle color shifts in his crystalline form. "Your quantum containment research has drawn considerable attention." Sarah bowed slightly, the proper gesture of respect when addressing a first observer. "I'm honored by your interest, Observer Kelix, though I fear my results won't justify such attention." "Perhaps." Kelix moved to the containment field, his faceted body analyzing the quantum fluctuations from multiple angles simultaneously. "Yet our predictive models indicate this facility has been consuming significant power resources, far more than a simple containment field study should require." Sarah felt a bead of sweat roll down her back. The power usage. She hadn't fought to mask that. "We've been running continuous trials, attempting to improve efficiency. By pursuing paths we have already determined to be ineffective." One of Kelix's subordinates interrupted, their tone carrying the distinctive harmonic of condescension that the Meridians reserved for what they considered lesser species. With respect, James stepped forward. "Sometimes understanding why something doesn't work is as valuable as understanding why it does." Kelix's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been amusement. A charmingly human perspective, Dr. Martins, yet one that assumes you possess the capacity to understand the failure modes of quantum mechanics. He turned back to Sarah. We will require access to all research data and power consumption logs for the past 3 years. Sarah gestured to the main computer interface. Of course, first observer. Everything is available for your review. For the next 2 hours, Sarah watched as the Meridians methodically examined her decoy research. She kept her expression neutral as they found exactly what she expected them to find. Failed attempts to replicate their crystalline quantum manipulation techniques, each failure documented in perfect detail. Finally, Kellix's form shifted into the configuration that Sarah had learned indicated satisfaction. Your dedication to proper documentation is commendable, Dr. Chen, even if your results are predictably disappointing. Thank you, first observer. We exist to learn from your wisdom. The Meridians departed as dramatically as they had arrived, leaving Sarah and James alone in the suddenly dim lab. Sarah waited 5 full minutes before retrieving the quantum-encrypted drive from its hiding place. They bought it, James whispered, still staring at the door. Sarah shook her head. No, they didn't, but they can't prove otherwise. And that's what matters. She held up the drive. Everything we need is here. The quantum consciousness integration, the neural interface designs, everything. What's our next move? Sarah smiled, thinking of the message she'd received last week from an anonymous source within the military. Someone high up had noticed her power usage too, but unlike the Meridians, they had guessed its true purpose. Pack your bags, James. We're taking a trip to Nevada. Apparently, there's an old facility in the desert that might suit our needs. She pocketed the drive, already mentally designing the modifications they would need. It's time to show the galaxy what human consciousness can really do. As they began shutting down the lab for the night, Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. The Meridians had made a crucial mistake. They had assumed humanity's greatest weakness. Their organic, imprecise, emotional nature was holding them back. They hadn't considered that it might be their greatest strength. Soon, very soon, they would learn just how wrong they had been. The Nevada desert shimmered in the midsummer heat as Sarah's transport descended toward what appeared to be nothing more than an abandoned mining complex. 3 months had passed since the Meridian inspection, and every day had been spent in careful preparation for this moment. As they landed, Colonel Maya Rodriguez stepped out to greet them, her weathered face breaking into a calculated smile. Her dark uniform bore no insignia. Officially, this project didn't exist. Dr. Chen, Dr. Martinez, she nodded to each of them. Welcome to Project Prometheus. The elevator ride down revealed the true scale of the operation. They descended past level after level of laboratories, workshops, and testing chambers, all carved into the bedrock of the Nevada desert. The facility had been built during the Cold War and expanded in secret ever since, its existence hidden from their Meridian allies through a complex web of shell companies and falsified records. How many people know about this place? James asked, watching the level numbers tick past 30. Including you two. 43, Maya answered. Each handpicked, each with something the Meridians overlooked or dismissed. Speaking of which, the elevator stopped, and Maya led them into a vast chamber that hummed with power. There's someone you should meet. A young woman sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by floating holographic displays. Her eyes were closed, and her hands moved through the air as if conducting an invisible orchestra. The displays responded to her movements, shifting and changing in perfect synchronization. Dr. Chen, meet Lieutenant Aisha Patel, our best quantum sensitivity candidate. Aisha opened her eyes and gracefully rose to her feet. Dr. Chen, your papers on quantum field theory were brilliant, especially the parts you didn't publish. Sarah raised an eyebrow. You saw through the deliberately flawed equations. Better. Aisha grinned. I felt what you were hiding. The Meridians think quantum sensitivity is about precision and mathematical perfection. They don't understand that human consciousness naturally exists in a quantum state. Over the next several hours, Sarah and James were introduced to the rest of the team. Dr. Victor Rossi, an Italian neuroscientist who had developed revolutionary theories about consciousness and quantum entanglement. Dr. Wei Chung, whose work on biological computing had been dismissed by the Meridians as primitive. Captain Thomas Freeman, a pilot whose unreliable instincts had saved his crew 3 times during apparent equipment failures. Each member of the team represented something the Meridians had overlooked or underestimated about humanity. Together, they would turn those overlooked qualities into a weapon. "Show them the ship," Maya ordered, and a massive hologram materialized in the center of the chamber. Sarah's breath caught. The design was like nothing she'd ever seen, neither human nor Meridian. The hull curved in ways that seemed to challenge ordinary geometry, its surface covered in patterns that reminded her of neural networks. "We're calling it the Prometheus," Maya explained. "Built using a combination of reverse-engineered Meridian tech and human biological principles. But we've hit a wall with the quantum integration systems. That's where you come in." Sarah approached the hologram, her mind already racing with possibilities. "You've been building this in secret. How did you hide it from orbital scans? The entire facility is lined with metamaterials that scatter scanning beams," Wei explained. "As far as the Meridians are concerned, this is all solid rock." "And the power requirements?" "Geothermal taps," Maya answered, "masked as natural hot springs. We've been siphoning power for years, building up our resources, but without a working quantum drive, it's just an expensive sculpture." Sarah pulled out her quantum-encrypted drive. "Then let's make it more than that. Show me your quantum interface designs." The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Sarah's consciousness integration theories proved to be the missing piece they needed. The neural interface she and James had developed merged seamlessly with Aisha's quantum sensitivity training, creating something entirely new. "It's not just about controlling the quantum fields," Sarah explained during one late-night session. "It's about becoming part of them. The Meridians use their crystalline forms to impose order on quantum chaos. We're doing the opposite. We're letting our consciousness flow with the quantum currents." The breakthrough came on a Tuesday morning. Aisha was running a routine sensitivity test when every quantum sensor in the facility suddenly spiked. For a fraction of a second, she had achieved perfect quantum coherence with the ship's systems. "The readings are off the scale," James announced, his voice trembling with excitement. "This is beyond anything the Meridians have achieved." But their success came with a price. That evening, Maya called an emergency meeting. "We've detected increased Meridian activity in orbit," she announced, bringing up a tactical display. "Their patrol patterns have changed. They're looking for something. Have we been compromised?" Victor asked, his usual calm demeanor showing cracks of concern. "Not yet, but it's only a matter of time. They may not know exactly what we're doing, but they know something's happening." Maya turned to Sarah. "How close are we?" Sarah studied the latest test results. "The quantum integration systems are stable. The neural interfaces are functioning beyond our expectations. We could have a pilot ready for a full test within 2 weeks." "You have 1 week," Maya declared. "Whatever the Meridians are planning, we need to be ready before they make their move." As the team dispersed to their tasks with renewed urgency, Sarah lingered in the chamber, staring at the partly completed Prometheus. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, not just challenging Meridian technological superiority, but fundamentally changing humanity's place in the galaxy. "Having doubts?" Aisha asked, joining her. Sarah shook her head. "No, just thinking about what the Meridians told me back in my lab. They said we didn't have the capacity to understand quantum mechanics at their level. And they were right." Sarah smiled. "We don't understand it their way. We understand it our way. That's what they've never grasped. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in matching their abilities. It's in finding our own path. Above them, Hidden by miles of rock and advanced shielding, Meridian ships continued their patrol patterns, searching for signs of human defiance. Soon, they would find far more than they bargained for. The countdown to humanity's greatest leap forward had begun. Lieutenant Aisha Patel lay in the neural interface cradle aboard Prometheus, her mind expanding into the ship's quantum systems. The sensation was unlike anything she'd ever experienced, as if her consciousness had become liquid, flowing through circuits and quantum fields like water through a stream. Neural synchronization at 89% and climbing. James's voice came through the comm system. "How do you feel, Aisha?" "I feel infinite," she whispered. The ship wasn't just responding to her commands. It was becoming an extension of her consciousness. Every quantum fluctuation, every subatomic interaction was as clear as her own heartbeat. From the control center deep within the facility, Sarah watched the readings with a mixture of awe and anxiety. They'd compressed months of testing into days, pushing the boundaries of both technology and human endurance. Now everything hinged on this moment. "Aisha," she called, "can you pilot the ship? Actually navigate through quantum space?" "I already am," came the reply. "I'm everywhere. Everyone. Just waiting for you to give the word." Sarah turned to Maya. "We can't hide this anymore. Whatever happens next, the Meridians need to know they're not the only ones who can shape reality." Maya studied the tactical display for a long moment, then nodded. "Launch sequence authorized. Give them hell." As alarms blared throughout the facility, Sarah sent one final message to Prometheus's neural interface. "Show them what humanity can really do, Aisha. Show them everything." Above, the Meridian ships descended through the atmosphere, their crystalline hulls gleaming with power, completely unaware that they were about to witness something that would shatter their understanding of the universe. The real test flight of Prometheus was about to begin, and with it, humanity's first step into a reality beyond anything the Meridians had imagined possible. The Nevada sky erupted as Prometheus burst from its underground sanctuary, quantum fields warping reality around its hull. 5 Meridian warships hung in the air above, their crystalline forms refracting sunlight like massive prisms. For a moment, everything seemed frozen in perfect stillness. In the facility's control center, Sarah watched through hastily established quantum feeds as Aisha guided Prometheus through maneuvers that should have been impossible. The ship didn't just fly, it flowed, each movement a perfect integration of human intuition and quantum reality. "Meridian ships are powering up their primary weapons," Maya reported, her voice tight with tension. "They're transmitting on all frequencies." The crystalline voice of First Observer Kellex filled the command center. "Attention, unauthorized human vessel. You have breached multiple treaty provisions. Power down immediately or face immediate neutralization." Through the quantum feed, Aisha's laugh echoed with strange harmonics. "They still don't understand. They think this is about technology." The space around Prometheus rippled like water. "Should I show them what we really are?" Before Sarah could respond, the lead Meridian ship fired. A lance of coherent energy, focused through crystalline matrices refined over millennia, streaked toward Prometheus. It was the kind of weapon that had ended wars and subjugated species. Prometheus didn't dodge. Instead, the quantum fields around the ship shifted, and the energy beam simply flowed around it like water around a stone. Not deflected, not absorbed, but integrated into the quantum dance Aisha was conducting. "Impossible." Kellex's voice had lost its harmonious quality. "All ships, full containment protocols. This is beyond standard human capability." "No," Sarah transmitted back. "This is exactly human capability. You just never bothered to look for it." The Meridian ships moved into an attack formation, their crystalline hulls resonating with power. But Prometheus was already moving, not through space, but through the quantum fabric of reality itself. Where the Meridians tried to impose order, Aisha and Prometheus embraced chaos, becoming part of the quantum flow rather than trying to control it. Multiple quantum anomalies detected, Wei reported, studying readings that defied conventional physics. The Meridians are trying to establish a crystalline containment grid, but Aisha's quantum integration is. It's evolving faster than their systems can adapt. Through the neural interface, Aisha's consciousness had expanded beyond the ship, beyond normal spacetime. Their crystalline technology is amazing, her voice echoed through the quantum feed. But it's rigid, unchanging. They see quantum reality as something to be controlled. We see it as something to become. The air above Nevada became a battlefield of impossible physics. Meridian ships fired salvos of coherent energy, each shot precise enough to split atoms. But Prometheus danced through their barrage, quantum fields shifting in ways that made mockery of traditional spacetime. Where Meridian technology sought to impose order on quantum chaos, Prometheus and Aisha became the chaos, impossible to predict or contain. They've called for reinforcements, Maya announced, monitoring global quantum communications. 3 more battle groups dropping out of crystalline space, estimated arrival in 7 minutes. Sarah watched the tactical displays, her mind racing. They had proven their technology worked better than they'd ever imagined. But they couldn't fight the entire Meridian fleet. Not yet. Aisha, we need to withdraw. Get clear before their reinforcements arrive. No. Aisha's voice was calm but firm. Don't you see? This isn't about winning a battle. It's about showing them what's possible. The quantum reality I'm experiencing. It's not just a means of travel or combat. It's a fundamental truth they've been too rigid to understand. Quantum field stability holding at 95%, Wei reported. That's well beyond anything the Meridians have achieved with their crystalline systems. Colonel Rodriguez stood at the main tactical display, studying the orbital tracking data. Meridian patrols have maintained their search pattern. We have a 90-minute window before their next pass over this sector. Sarah nodded. Aisha, we're going to begin power-up sequence for the quantum drive. Remember, this is just a systems check, no actual spatial translation. Understood, Aisha replied, but there was something in her voice that made Sarah uneasy. Through the neural interface, Aisha wasn't just operating the ship. She was experiencing quantum reality directly. The effects of that level of perception on human consciousness were still largely theoretical. The massive underground chamber hummed as Prometheus's systems came fully online. The ship's unique design, neither human nor Meridian, seemed to shift and flow as quantum fields wrapped around it. Energy readings climbed steadily, approaching levels that should have been impossible according to Meridian physics. Drive sequence initiating, Victor announced. Quantum coherence at. Wait. He leaned closer to his displays. These readings can't be right. Sarah rushed to his station. The quantum field wasn't just stable. It was evolving, forming patterns they'd never seen before. Aisha, what are you seeing? Everything. Aisha's voice had taken on an almost dreamy quality. The quantum fields, they're not just random fluctuations. They're alive, dancing. The Meridians try to control them, but that's not the way. You have to dance with them. Warning indicators began flashing across multiple screens. The quantum field was expanding beyond their theoretical models, filling the chamber with shifting patterns of probability and possibility. Aisha, power down the drive. Maya ordered. We're exceeding safety parameters. No, Sarah interrupted, studying the readings. She's right. Look at the field stability. It's perfect. She's not fighting the quantum chaos like the Meridians do. She's becoming part of it. Through the observation windows, Prometheus began to glow with an inner light that seemed to bend reality around it. The air itself appeared to ripple, as if the boundary between normal space and quantum reality was becoming permeable. Multiple Meridian ships changing course, Maya announced suddenly. They've detected something. We need to shut down now. But Aisha was already moving beyond their ability to control. I understand now. Her voice came through the calm, filled with wonder. We've been thinking too small. The quantum reality isn't just another dimension. It's everything. Every possibility, every moment, all existing simultaneously. Sarah watched in amazement as new equations began flowing across her screen, transmitted directly from Aisha's neural interface. The mathematics was beyond anything she'd ever seen, yet somehow perfectly logical. It wasn't just a new way of manipulating quantum fields, it was a new way of understanding reality itself. Multiple meridian vessels entering atmosphere, Maya reported, her voice tense. Estimated arrival in 15 minutes. Aisha, Sarah spoke urgently. What you're seeing, can you control it? Can you use it? Better. There was a smile in Aisha's voice. I can share it. Suddenly, every screen in the control center erupted with data. Through Aisha's quantum connection, the ship was transmitting everything. The complete mathematics of human quantum integration, the true nature of consciousness-driven spatial manipulation, and things they had never even imagined. Download everything, Sarah ordered. Copy it to every secure system we have. James stared at the incoming data in awe. This is beyond the quantum drive. This changes everything. The Meridians weren't just wrong about our capabilities. They didn't even understand what capabilities were possible. 7 minutes to Meridian contact, Maya announced. We need to power down and seal the facility. Too late, Aisha's voice was calm. But it doesn't matter. They can't stop what's already begun. The quantum barriers are dissolving. Can you feel it? Sarah could. Something was changing in the air around them, as if reality itself was becoming more fluid, more responsive to human consciousness. The Meridians had spent millennia trying to impose their crystalline order on quantum chaos. In less than an hour, a human mind had found a way to become one with it. 3 minutes to contact, Maya reported. We need to make a decision now. Sarah looked at the data still pouring in from Prometheus, then at the approaching Meridian ships on the tactical display. They had achieved more than they'd ever dreamed possible, but had also attracted exactly the attention they'd been trying to avoid. Whatever happened next would change the course of human history. As if to demonstrate, Prometheus began to move in ways that defied description. The ship didn't just avoid Meridian attacks. It existed in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously, making it impossible to target. Quantum fields rippled out from its hull, affecting not just space but time itself. Their ships, James called out, studying the sensor data. The quantum disruption is affecting their crystalline matrices. Their own technology is starting to resonate with our quantum fields. Sarah watched in amazement as the Meridian ships began to shimmer, their perfect crystalline forms vibrating with new possibilities. The human approach to quantum reality wasn't just different. It was infectious, introducing chaos into their ordered systems. Full-spectrum quantum surge detected, Wei announced. The Meridian fleet, they're losing coherence. Through the quantum feed, they could hear the panic in Meridian communications. Their ships, the pride of their empire, were being transformed by contact with human quantum fields. The rigid crystalline structures that had defined their civilization for millennia were becoming fluid dynamic. Now they understand. Aisha's voice carried a note of satisfaction. The universe isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced, to be felt, to be danced with. But their victory was short-lived. The reinforcement fleet emerged from crystalline space, their arrival tearing holes in reality itself. 12 more warships, each larger than the first wave, their crystalline hulls gleaming with power. All human personnel. A new voice transmitted, somehow even more crystalline than Kellick's. This is High Commander Vex of the Meridian Defense Force. Your interference with natural quantum order ends now. Surrender, or we will be forced to implement final containment protocols. Sarah felt her blood run cold. Final containment was Meridian euphemism for planetary quarantine, a quantum barrier that would cut Earth off from the rest of the galaxy. Through the quantum feed, she felt Aisha's consciousness shift. They're afraid, she said softly. Not of our technology, but of what it represents. The chaos we embrace threatens everything they believe about the universe. Multiple quantum containment fields activating, Maya reported. They're trying to box us in. Sarah looked at the tactical display, watching as the Meridian reinforcements began to establish a massive containment grid. They had achieved more than they'd ever dreamed possible, but now faced a force capable of imprisoning entire worlds. Aisha, she called through the quantum feed. Whatever you're going to do it now. The response came not in words, but in a surge of quantum potential that made reality itself hold its breath. The real battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The sky above Earth had become a lattice of crystalline energy as the Meridian fleet attempted to establish their containment grid. Prometheus hung in the center of it all, a dark silhouette against the fractal patterns of quantum energy. Inside the ship, Aisha's consciousness expanded through quantum space, touching the very fabric of reality. Their containment field is nearly complete. Maya's voice crackled through the quantum feed. 2 minutes until Earth is cut off from normal space. In the control center, Sarah watched as the tactical displays showed more Meridian ships arriving, each adding their power to the growing quantum barrier. But something about their formation caught her attention. They're not just trying to contain us, she realized. They're afraid. Look at their positioning. They're keeping maximum distance from Prometheus. They've never seen quantum fields behave this way before. Through the neural interface, Aisha's laugh echoed with strange harmonics. They're right to be afraid. I can feel their quantum matrix. So rigid, so ordered. But order isn't the natural state of the universe. Chaos is. As if to demonstrate, Prometheus began to pulse with a new kind of energy. The quantum fields around the ship didn't just bend reality. They began to transform it. Where Meridian technology imposed crystalline order on quantum chaos, Prometheus embraced the chaos, becoming a nexus of pure possibility. Remarkable. High Commander Vex's voice carried genuine awe beneath its crystalline resonance. You've achieved quantum integration in ways we never imagined possible, but you cannot be allowed to continue. This level of chaos threatens the very fabric of space-time. You're wrong, Sarah transmitted back. We're not threatening space-time. We're showing you its true nature. She turned to her team. James, Wei, transmit everything. All our data, all our findings. Let every human quantum researcher on Earth see what we've discovered. That would be unwise, Vex responded, his crystalline tone hardening. Your species is not ready for this level of quantum understanding. But it was too late. Through the quantum network they'd established, information began to flow. Not just data, but a fundamental new understanding of reality itself. Across the planet, human scientists watched in awe as the true nature of quantum reality unfolded before them. Aisha's voice came through the quantum feed, but it had changed, as if she was speaking from everywhere and everyone simultaneously. The Meridians spent millennia trying to perfect their crystalline technology, believing that imposing order was the only way to manipulate quantum reality. But they never understood the most fundamental truth about consciousness. In space, Prometheus began to move in ways that defied physics itself. The ship didn't just avoid the containment grid. It existed in multiple states simultaneously, each probability bleeding into the next. The quantum chaos around it began to spread, touching the Meridian ships' crystalline matrices. Their ships, Wei called out, studying the readings. The quantum resonance is affecting their crystalline structure. It's evolving. Sarah watched in amazement as the Meridian fleet began to change. Their perfect crystalline forms, maintained through millennia of rigid control, started to flow and shift. The quantum chaos introduced by Prometheus wasn't destroying their technology. It was transforming it, showing them new possibilities they had never imagined. Stop this immediately, Vex commanded, but there was uncertainty in his voice now. You don't understand the forces you're dealing with. No, Commander, Aisha responded, her consciousness now touching every quantum field in the solar system. You don't understand. Human consciousness isn't limited by rigid structures or perfect order. We dream, we imagine, we create. Our minds naturally exist in a state of quantum superposition, embracing infinite possibilities. The containment grid began to fluctuate as more human scientists across the planet began to understand, their consciousness adding to the quantum resonance. It wasn't just Prometheus anymore. Humanity itself was awakening to its true potential. Impossible, Vex whispered, watching as his fleet's crystalline technology began to resonate with human quantum patterns. This defies all known laws of quantum physics. No, Sarah transmitted. It defies your understanding of those laws. Human consciousness doesn't try to control quantum reality. It becomes part of it. That's what you never understood about us. We don't need perfect crystalline matrices or rigid control systems. We just need to embrace who and what we really are. Through the quantum feed, they felt Aisha smile. Let me show you. Prometheus pulsed once, and reality shifted. The quantum fields around the ship expanded exponentially, touching every meridian vessel in the system. But instead of destroying them, it transformed them. The rigid crystalline matrices that had defined meridian technology for millennia began to flow like liquid light, becoming something new, a hybrid of crystalline precision and human chaos. The readings, James gasped, staring at his displays. They're not just changing. They're evolving. The meridian ships are adapting to quantum chaos, incorporating it into their systems. High Commander Vex's voice had lost its crystalline hardness. This is unprecedented. Our sensors indicate quantum efficiency beyond anything in our historical records. How is this possible? Because you tried to impose your will on quantum reality, Sarah explained. We learned to dance with it instead. And now we're showing you the dance. The containment grid dissolved, not in destruction, but in transformation. The Meridian fleet hung in Earth's orbit, their ships shimmering with new possibilities. The rigid hierarchy of crystalline control had given way to something far more powerful, the marriage of order and chaos, precision and possibility. We offer you a choice, Sarah transmitted to the Meridian fleet. Continue trying to control and contain humanity, or join us in exploring what's really possible when consciousness and quantum reality become one. There was a long moment of silence. Then, slowly, the Meridian ships began to power down their weapons. Through the quantum feed, they felt the crystalline minds within beginning to resonate with new possibilities. Perhaps, Vex said finally, his voice carrying a new harmony, it is time for the Meridian Empire to learn some new dances. As the sun rose over Earth, humanity had achieved something far greater than mere technological advancement. They had shown an ancient, powerful civilization that the universe wasn't meant to be controlled. It was meant to be experienced, explored, and transformed by consciousness itself. Prometheus hung in orbit, a symbol of humanity's greatest strength. Not the ability to match other civilizations' achievements, but to find their own unique path to the stars. The quantum revolution had begun, and it would transform not just humanity, but every civilization ready to embrace the true nature of reality itself. In the control center, Sarah looked at her team, the humans who had dared to challenge an empire's understanding of the universe. Well, she smiled, shall we show them what else is possible? Above, the quantum fields danced with new possibilities, and humanity took its first steps into a future where consciousness and reality were one, where order and chaos danced together, and where the stars themselves waited to be transformed by human dreams.